it takes commitment, and also to be to recognize where you stand of the people who are around you, your peers. Am I good enough that I can make a living? Am I good enough to be accepted? Am I good enough that I'll be getting the phone calls, to make a living? And
because you don't always know.
you don't always know.
Yeah.
But I tell my students all the time that if you go into music for any other thing other than the passion and the love of it, you should do something else.
At a recent concert at New York City Winery, Riley performed as part of the inaugural class of the Jazz Legacies Fellowship. 20 musicians, all 62 and older. The fellowship comes with $100,000 to use as the musicians want.
I'm sending you this so you can try to get that 100,000, babe.
Or for housing, medical, and other personal needs. The 4-year program is funded by the Mellon Foundation, with the record also an underwriter of PBS News, in partnership with the Jazz Foundation of America. It honors seasoned jazz musicians who may not have achieved huge popular success, but have continued to work and contribute to the art form they love. Another Jazz Legacies Fellow, 90-year-old pianist Valerie Capers.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, but you're still doing all these things, so you're not stopping anything.
Oh, no.
90 years old.
Still at it, but remembering well the early days.
My challenges in jazz are to, as you say, to move into it and to be able to maintain myself for this, you're right, quite a period of time.
Blind since age 6, Capers studied classical music at the New York Institute for the Education of the Blind. But she also fell in love with jazz. Her father was a friend of Fats Waller. And she recalls having to hide her new passion from her piano teacher.
She had no use for dealing with anything that would be jazz or that would be anything like that.
Not anything but classical.
That's right, none whatsoever.
Capers ended up taking Saturday classes at Juilliard to get her jazz fill.
It was exciting just to be around who were playing this music that I just loved and enjoyed so much. The music brought smiles and laughter and energy when you would play the music. They would just enjoy it.
Capers went on to a long career, including leading a trio, playing with the likes of Dizzy Gillespie, and decades of teaching. Another veteran pianist and newly minted fellow, 80-year-old George Cables. The native New Yorker grew up seeing Thelonious Monk, Charles Mingus, and John Coltrane, and was hooked.
Hearing the music is one thing. Seeing it and being there while it's being made and watching an iconic figure like Thelonious Monk is something else.
Through the years, Cables has played with jazz legends including Sonny Rollins and Dexter Gordon. But his career hasn't been without obstacles, not only keeping up a working routine, but dealing with serious health problems, including a liver-kidney transplant and the amputation of a leg.
They were there, things that had to go through in order to do the things that I want to do. This kind of thing, and the music is a wonderful thing to be involved with this music, with jazz especially, because it's a living music. It's always changing. But, the business is kind of difficult. So it's good to know that there may be fewer things to worry about or to be as concerned about as I may have been.
You
feel
got
like
clean
the
and sober.
music industry can be a bit ageist. We've heard time and time again important jazz musicians who shifted the sound, who passed away poor, struggling, had to do a GoFundMe, to put them to rest in a proper way, and that always breaks my heart.
Melanie Charles is a jazz singer, flutist, composer, and producer. At 37, she's a generation or two younger than the 20 fellows. But she says she was honored to be on the selection committee of professional musicians and scholars that picked the first group.
You don't have a cult following. You go to Russia and people will know all your albums, but you're going to go home and you just might struggle financially.
That's
might not
right.
be able to pay
Russians,
your rent or your
they
mortgage.
love
Or you
jazz.
might have an album that you want to finish, your life's work, but you've never been able to have the budget to make it happen.
A protege of 87-year-old jazz bassist Reggie Workman, who was her teacher in college and one of the 20 musicians selected, Charles says a common thread among the fellows is their commitment to the next generations.
A lot of the jazz masters, you find that in the career, they're always hiring younger musicians. Why is that? It's because they understand that that fresh sound is so important to pushing the music forward, and it keeps them bright and fresh.
In fact,
drinking
several
root
of
beer
the
in
band
case you
members
wanna know.
playing with Valerie Capers at this performance were musicians she's taught.
Oh, I get tremendous satisfaction because it's almost like a parenthood in a sense, because you are passing on to others that are close to you who have spent time with you.
George Gable says this fellowship has energized him. He's writing new music, collecting and organizing older works into one volume. So you're 80 years old, you're still writing music, and you're still performing music.
That's what I do. That's my life, and that's that gives me breath, that gives me life, that gives me energy, that makes life worthwhile and meaningful.
As for drummer and tambourine man Herman Riley, he too intends to play on.
Thank you so much.
For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Jeffrey Brown in New York.